Now, as part of CGTN Listen series, we take a closer look at China's ambitious poverty alleviation campaign. Today, we focus on Liangshan Yi Autonomous Prefecture in southwest China's Sichuan province. It's one of the most impoverished regions in the country. In 2015, 11 out of the 17 counties in the prefecture were on the national list of poorest counties. The area is prone to earthquakes and has suffered of natural disasters as well. Our reporters Meng Qingsheng and Wei Lingtan traveled to Liangshan to find out how one village there is tackling poverty.
Over the past 4 decades, China has lifted more than 700 million people in rural areas out of poverty, roughly 19 million each year. Sanhe village has prioritized a relocation program, among others, to help break the cycle of poverty. For more on that, we are joined by Mr. Zhang Ling, the first party secretary of Sanhe village. Yeah. Mr. Yu Bin, deputy to China's top legislature, the National People's Congress. And Mr. Yang Gao, founder of Wisdom Human Resources. Welcome. Mr. Zhang, let's start with you. As we understand, the first phase of relocation started in February. How has this been received by locals?
We started construction of 9 relocation sites in April of last year, and the first batch of villagers moved into their new homes this February. They're happy and excited. Compared to their old shacks, their new places now have more space with a clear division of functions.
Before the relocation program started, most of the local Yi ethnic people lived in adobe shacks. My colleague Wei Lingtan takes us into a local household.
Remote and dispersed, Luogu's family has been living in homes like this for a long time now, with rooftops made of clay, rocky roads, and their farmlands just beside them. Inside, everything is crammed into one tight spot, where you sleep, where you cook, and where you eat.
Do you find your present living conditions tough?
Conditions are hard in our old home. We don't have running water, little electricity, and even to sell something is hard because we don't have proper concrete roads to ship these goods out.
You've been living in homes like this for decades now. How do you feel about relocating?
I really look forward to our new home because we won't have the capability to build it on our own.
What are your main sources of income right now, and how do you plan to rid yourself as well as your family out of poverty?
We earn about 2,900 yuan a year per person. Besides income from my outside employment, the government has also provided us with microloans to buy cows. The government has also loaned us seeds to plant higher grade potatoes, such that we can sell it when it harvests.
Besides relocation, there are also other ways to tackle poverty here. Can you tell us more on that?
We've also been focusing on our basic infrastructure. For one, we've started constructing a 22-kilometer road to connect villages. We're also working on increasing the income of villagers by engaging them in agricultural and livestock farming. Potatoes have long been the staple food of the locals. We have introduced a new seed to help villagers boost production. A common way to consume potatoes is roasting. We can taste them later. Now, we also offer villagers vocational training and night school programs to better prepare them to find employment in other cities, thereby increasing their income.
Mr. Yu, as a deputy with China's top legislature, can you share with us your proposals on how to further increase people's standards of living, especially in harsh areas like where we are?
I'm concerned about rural revitalization. What do I see here as a shortage of workers? The future development of a village, a county, or a city hinges on talent, on leaders who can take the reins. They can then help improve lives right down to the grassroots level.
Mr. Yang, you grew up in Liangshan, and after spending 8 years studying and working in Beijing, you chose to come back in 2015.
I hope I can bring back what I've learned and contribute to the development here. And what we're seeing now is there are fewer kids dropping out of school. So much so that the number of teachers can't meet the demand of these children returning to school. My company handles human resources. From 2016 till now, we've trained and sent 150 teachers to schools, benefiting 20,000 students overall. Liangshan's development requires the progress of more young people. We need to improve their professional and financial capabilities such that they don't fall back into poverty.
Sanhe village now has 2 kindergartens and a primary school. Both of them have been successful in helping students to a 9-year compulsory education. Let's now take a closer look inside a local campus.
I'm now here at a kindergarten. Joining me is one of the teachers, Yu Zuo. What do students mostly learn here and how receptive are they towards learning?
It's now government policy that rural children attend kindergarten, and they enjoy it. I find them to be enthusiastic. Here, they mostly learn the Chinese language, good hygiene, and nursery rhymes.
Just beside the kindergarten is a primary school with an inbuilt hostel. And joining me now is Rizwa, the vice principal of this school. Talk to us about the teacher-to-student ratio of this school, as well as what are the top pressing challenges facing the education landscape of this village now.
We lack teachers. One instructor teaches classes of 40 students now. Ideally, it should be a 1:20 ratio. Also, what's still missing here is a lack of support from the students' families. I suggest that parents and the school work closely together.
I'd like to turn back to you now, Mr. Zhang. Your village has vowed to wipe out absolute poverty by the end of this year. What are the challenges ahead, if any?
I think the difficulty in poverty reduction lies in one's mindset. Even if new housing and transportation infrastructure have been provided, at the end of the day, it has to come from the villagers' willingness to lead better lives. The villagers' inner drive is the hardest nut to crack.
There's a saying here, to alleviate poverty, first have to cultivate wisdom. In President Xi Jinping's 2019 New Year greeting, he said, "We are all dreamers. We should encourage our poor households to have a dream. The dream does not need to be too far-fetched or big, as long as one can live a good life."
Mr. Yu, we are now on the last leg of China's 2020 poverty eradication goal. In your view, what more should be done to ensure sustainability of this vision?
The construction of Liangshan's basic infrastructure has improved to a certain extent, helped by government funding. In the long term, we need a sustainable development model to ensure villagers don't fall back into poverty. But financial support is still crucial for us at this point.
My vision for the village, it will be truly lifted out of poverty when those having left the village choose to come back, be it to find a living or build a home, and ultimately to help give their hometown a leg up.
Mr. Yang, please.
Villagers seeking employment elsewhere is only a temporary phenomenon. We need a better market environment. We hope the country will provide more tangible support to entrepreneurs and the private economy.
Thank you all for taking part in this program. 谢谢大家.
Potatoes are now ready. Let's have a taste. This is a very typical way to eat potatoes for our ethnic people.